Let us not dawdle, for there are grudges to settle, and new entries in the Dammer's Cron to right!
Howdy, howdy, Sea here, and welcome to a training match between me and Oroka Boss, my coach, with me as the Dowie playing against him as Bretonnia. Now, this was the very first training match we had, and Oroka Boss really wanted to evaluate my playing strength, sort of what areas I needed work in, and we just said, well, we're going to play some games and see how they go. And this was the very, very first game we played. I wish I would have recorded the live bit, but anyways, I'll go over my build. This is a build I've used for a little while, and now I have a few games on the channel with it, and a Vanguard deployed to really get in his face early with the Rangers, because they have stock and Vanguard, and I have two miners just in front, no blasting charges, and the Rangers here to really get early pressure right off the get-go. And this map actually is really nice because it's sort of got a corridor in here, so you can't get rear charged by cavalry. For my main line, I do have Longbeards, just 5 groups of Longbeards in the front line, and they all have 1 chevron. We do have 3 groups of Longbeards with great weapons in the back line, and they're really my anti-large. They do have charge defenses against large, and they do good against cavalry. And I have 3 more groups of miners. I thought I had 3. I guess I only have 4 groups of miners. Yeah, 2 more groups of miners back here, and they're really just to get in the way of stuff. They're really to get in the way of cav, and that's why I have them sort of in a blocky formation. I do have a gyrocopter with brimstone gun to fly around and just poke things, and I do have 2 thunders, and they again are in squares so they can turn really fast, and I just have a basic lord. For Oroka Boss's build, he has 5 units of peasant mobs chevroned up in the front. He has 6 units of peasant bowmen in his second line, and he has 6 units of foot squires, which are armor-piercing anti-infantry, and pretty good against the Dowie. He does have a Damsel of Life, and really all that Damsel has is the Power Stone, the Scroll of Shielding for 22% damage resistance, Earth Blood, and Life Bloom. For his leadership, he does have Leon Kerr, and he does have the Sword of Crone for the minus 27 melee defense, minus 30 armor, the Lion's Shield for 44% missile resistance, 44% magic resistance, Stand Your Ground for 27 melee defense, 16 leadership. He does have Foe Seeker for the 24% speed, 18% vigor. He also has the Ladies Champion, so he regenerates, that's what makes him so powerful, and he does have the Blessing of the Lady for the 20% physical resistance. Now these Royal Hippogriff Knights are going to run around with him. They have a ton of stats. They cause fear and terror. They do have, 20%? Yeah, physical resistance, and they do have the Blessing of the Lady, so they're going to actually be 1 kit. So we'll get this started, and this was the very first training match I had with the Oroka Boss to evaluate my playing strength. So really, I got out here and boom, get shots right away, and he's getting shots back into my miners, but my shots are going to do a little more than him. Well, kind of. Peasant mobs don't have a lot of health. I am going to start to bring up my army. I really want to support this, and I'm bringing my gyrocopter over here to try and get some shots, and I am going to sort of set up shop at this corner because it seems to be a pretty good place to me. And in he comes with the Royal Hippogriff Knights and the King Leon Kerr. I am doing pretty good against these peasants. I mean, they're only worth 100 gold. I've got the gyrocopter here. I am going to try and run away from these Royal Hippogriff Knights. He's bringing Leon Kerr in, so I'm going to try and get shots in with the Thunders. Now, I got them mucked up in my line here, so they are going to get some shots, so. And I've got these guys out front, and I am just taking shots with the Rangers here. So I'm trying to get my gyrocopter with brimstone guns back towards my Thunders, and because I want to actually take shots. I've got these guys shooting at Lewin. I'm not doing a ton of damage because he has that Lion's Shield on for the 44% missile resistance, but I'm doing stun damage, and I'm bringing around my gyrocopter. He has these peasant mobs that are going to come out to the side, these peasant mobs to the side, and he has a foot squires way out to this side. So I am kind of counter-firing against these peasant bowmen with some of my troops, and these peasant mobs have now routed. He had done a ton of damage to my Rangers with Luan, and he's going to just come around and find a spot. Now I'm just trying to find a way to make sure I keep things protected and try and reset my line a little bit further up so I can sort of try and maintain a bit of a pocket here and get shooting with my Thunders. So I know if he comes by in the air, I can get shooting them. So in he comes with Luon and the Royal Hippogriff Knights. He's really looking for that a spot to shoot, and he's got some shots on the Thunders. I have brought the Thunders too close to his Peasant Bowman, and he's getting shots in there. And now I'm going to aim at the Royal Hippogriff Knights, and he's just going to dive bomb right in. So I'm trying to bring my gyrocopters in. Now I'm just trying to absolutely collapse with everything. And he's got Stand Your Ground and Foe Seeker going on. I've got these Longbeards against a Peasant Mob. You know, my back line is actually really, really safe right now, so I didn't need it to set it up like this. I was really worried about cavalry, right? And that's why I sort of have that build like that. I am sort of trying to fight here against Luon, but he's got that shield up. Sorry, the buff up, and the Royal Hippogriff Knights are doing a number against my Rangers really, really well. And now he's finally brought the Foot Squires in, and they're actually contacting the Longbeards, and they're actually pushing through. Brought the Damsel of Life in, and he's kind of got them into my main line as well. He's getting some Foot Squires on this side. I do have Longbeards over here. I do have Miners over here. My Miners with great weapons have all collapsed in, and now he's just pushing around and getting into my Thunders. And you can see he's really going after things one by one, trying to make sure he blocks them off. He's got these Foot Squires into the Longbeards on this side, and now he's just, I don't know what he's shooting at, maybe the Gyrocopter? Yeah, Gyrocopter. I didn't see that. I was really focused on these guys, so I'm not doing a ton of damage to them, and I'm really trying to do something. And I'm trying to collapse in on Luon, because he's just crushing my back line. And then I'm trying to take shots at these Royal Hippogriff Knights. I mean, I do have the Gyrocopter shooting, and I do have the Rangers shooting, but he's absolutely escorting my Thunders off, and he's beating these Thunders up with Luon. And Luon is, I mean, he's still full health. It's absolutely crazy. He must have got a heal in there. So in I come with the Longbeards with great weapons. I do want to try and slow him down. Like, they have a lot of mass. He's got Foe Seeker going again. He's been on the ground for a long, long time. I just have not been able to do anything to him with those heals. I've pushed these Longbeards back out. I want to get them into my front line to try and hold, because you can see this is not going well. These guys are using up their ammo quite nicely, shooting against my Rangers, shooting against my Gyrocopter. And you can see I've got some damage against these Royal Hippogriff Knights, but not enough. And now they're going to come in and get into my Gyrocopter, and there's nothing, I didn't see this. I was really focusing on, okay, here come the Foot Squires. I want to get these guys away, and I want to get these guys in to try and actually replace, so I can fight here and create a new space for my guys to shoot. In comes Leon. He's just absolutely harassing me. In he comes. Now I got to reset my guys and get back in. I'm losing the fight to the Foot Squires here, and these guys are beating the crap out of my Gyrocopters. I'm just trying to get away so I can lead them away from my army. And meanwhile, I've got these Longbeards with great weapons trying to come back. My Lord trying to come back. These Longbeards with great weapons trying to come back, because I know they can do some damage against Luon, but he's just doing a really good job of beating the crap out of me. And now he's just pushing in what he has left for his ranged. And I have gotten the Longbeards to push them out, but this is not what I want. I want Miners chasing Peasant Bowmen, not Longbeards. But I wanted to push them out a little bit, so now he's just focusing these guys down, taking shots in the back. And Luon went up and did a rear charge into these Peasant Bowmen, and now my Gyrocopters are gone. He's going to bring this Royal Hippogriff Knight back and just kill my Thunders over here. Meanwhile, my Longbeards, he's pushed right through with the Foot Squires. I'm going to try and intercept them and deal with them. And he's got Luon over here. I'm fighting with the Longbeards, and do I just have the Longbeards here? Yeah. And he's bringing in these peasants and the Foot Squires and Luon on focusing on here. And now all of a sudden, my pocket has nothing to do. So I'm going to go back and fight these Foot Squires. You know, this peasant mob. I haven't been able to do some damage, but he's been able to get rid of my Rangers, and these Longbeards are chasing, but they're taking shots in the back. They're really not doing anything. His Damsels are actually doing a good job of getting in there and at least fighting things regularly. But Luon is just crushing me right now. He just absolutely demolished me, and he's shattered this unit. And now in comes this Royal Hippogriff Knights again, and in comes Luon again. And now really I only have these Rangers left, you can see, and these Thunders. You can see this very, very methodical approach that Oroka Boss takes to his gameplay. He's like, okay, he just wants to slowly kill things that are going to cause him problems. So I bring in the Longbeards and I try and push out my Thunders and exchange one for the other. But he just runs over here and tries to get onto my range units over here. So I'm just chasing him around again, and he does have a peasant mob here and foot squires. You know, I've got these Thunders, trying to kind of push them back a little bit. I have routed some of his units, and I've sort of got a mishmash of units all around. But you can see now Luan's decided he's going to go after my lord, and what did he get? He was getting one after these rangers. So now he's pulled out. I mean, these guys still have a good amount of health. Luan's still got tons of health to regenerate. I'm sure they're going to probably go over here, get these Longbeards or something like that, because they can, and then just escort them off the field. And now you can see I'm pretty much left with just 2 ranged units in this pocket. Very, very little left in here, but I do have a healthy lord, and I do have some great weapons back here. These Longbeards have just been whittled away by all these peasant bowmen. They are almost out of ammo, though. These Longbeards are gone. These miners, I'm just going to try and chase down and get after these peasant bowmen. And, you know, I have nothing left back here, I don't believe. Nope. And these guys, these foot squires are gone. So now it's time to sort of reconsolidate and to sort of think about what I've got, because I do have these Thunders. Now, they don't have a lot of health, but, well, might as well hit the foot squires. I have tons of ammo. The ammo is not a problem. So hitting the foot squires will actually do good, so I can get rid of them. And then, really, though, he's going to go after my units back here. He sees these miners, and I think he's going to go after him. Like, this is Oroka boss and how he plays. He sees this as free money, a free unit. That's exactly how he talks. He says, don't give your units away for free. He sees this as absolutely free, and we'll just watch, because, like, you would think you don't need to come after these miners, but he sees them as free. They cost nothing. I mean, these guys aren't killing anybody, and he's still shooting in. So he comes in, he's going to terror out them, and he's going to kill them all, and now he's got these peasant bowmen are not running anymore, and they still have ammo. So this is sort of, you know, now that I've gone through all my training and looked back at this game, I can see a lot of what he's doing. Not that I'm going to win this game at this point, but like, you can look, I've really got nothing. I've got a little bit of ammo. No, I've got no ammo on these rangers. I got a little bit of ammo on this, but he's got some ammo left. And now, you know, where do I go? So I'm just kind of waiting, like a good dwarf here. Really, if I think about what I should be doing, is I should actually be trying to push the pace. I should pick a spot and just go after these guys and get around this tree or something like that, and not let him surround me, right? Because I'm actually allowing him to play his game. I really want to get some shots with the Thunders, and I wanted to save them for the Royal Hippogriff Knights or something like that, because I have managed to get most of his infantry. Like I have a ton of infantry, so I have managed to get most of it. But really, I just want to get Luan right here. And we were talking in chat. So I don't know if he actually said something that distracted me, which is why I didn't shoot him as he came in. But I'm guessing he did, because that's why I missed it. That's probably why. Anyhow, he brings in Luan, and he has his resistances, and you know, why not? He doesn't need to bring in the Royal Hippogriff Knights. And we saw this in the Shetland Apache game. Look, I played the Shetland Apache game long after I played this game. Shetland, like, Luan could just come in here and fight the whole damn army. And so he does. Like, Oroka boss doesn't wait to the end to let him fight. And he's like, okay, I'm going to get him fighting everybody. And then I'm just going to come in with these guys, because they got no ammo left. And I have this Damsel of Life. I have these guys coming in for the full surround. He wants to get everyone surrounded at the same time, because this is what a Oroka boss does. And he is shooting here, and now he's got, what is it, a lifeblood? Oh, minus 27 melee defense, minus 30 armor, of course. And I'm surprised he doesn't have a regrowth or something going on here as well. You know, yeah, sort of Corona is going on. And yeah, he does have Earthblood, upgraded Earthblood to heal everybody, just to really finish as strong as he can. You can see Luan is almost full health. And these guys are now out of ammo, so they will come in and join in the fun, and that is the game. So, really, an interesting game now that I look back at it and I cast it. Now, the game I played against Shetland Apache in his Bretonnia, Yeah, his Bretonnia list was a little bit better, but I also played a little bit better because I'd already gone through my training with the Oroka boss, and now I see some of the things that he saw in my gameplay. Now I was not really worried about the army build, and we again, Oroka boss and I talked about this actually a few times, is that I want to play better no matter what my build is. I really want to improve my skills as a player because I can always work on the build. It's something fun. It's I enjoy it. I get lots of suggestions from you guys, and and we talked about that quite a bit. And that's where we started developing this idea. Because after this game, I told him I didn't even know he had a Damsel of Life. I didn't realize he had a Damsel of Life at all. And like I said, everything that I saw and I didn't saw, and we had a long discussion. That's why I wished I'd recorded it. And we talked about sort of what I was doing and where I had my troops. And that was really the first game where he could evaluate the way he was going to structure what we were going to talk about and what we were going to train on. And sort of this game... And I have another couple of games we're going to get to, but this is where really he said the very first thing we're going to start working on is at the start of every game you're going to identify your opponent's army and his magic, and that's it. So identify your opponent's army, and that was the very first lesson we did work on because there was a lot here I didn't really think about. I wanted to get in his face, I did. I was able to get my Rangers in his face right away, but I didn't pick a target. Like if I go back and look, really I should have been 100% focused on these Royal Hippogriff Knights. Yes, he could have healed them through, but just not even touch Leon Kerr. Just focus on the Royal Hippogriff Knights, then focus on the Foot Squires, and not even worry. Like he got lots of kills with the Peasant Bowman. I get it, but I could have kept my ranged department back far enough so that I could have really focused on the Foot Squires and then left these guys for last. Because you see, they used all their ammo. All of them did. Every one. I think except maybe one. And I still had plenty of troops in the end. Like I actually did still have plenty of troops. I mean, they took a beating, but I still had enough ground troops to finish the job. And had I really focused on these Royal Hippogriff Knights, it would have been much harder for Lewin to actually go and harass me, and I would have been able to do more work with Gyrocopter. I didn't keep my Gyrocopter safe. I gave him a free miner. I gave him 2 free Longbeards. I gave him free Rangers. I gave him a free Thunders. And I find now when I look back at this game, I think about how I was thinking and the difference in sort of how I perceive it. Because, you've heard me, if you watch the channel, talk about, one of the things I love about miners is their fire and forget. Because I do love just, in some games where I just can chase a unit and don't even have to worry about them if they die, oh well. But that's not how Oroka boss thinks. He's like, hey, don't give your units away for free. Why? And you can see, he took it for free. Like, he didn't have to come and fight me. He went out of his way to go after a half-health unit of miners that, was worth about a total of 120 gold. But he just went and took it because it was 100% free. And I just gave it to him. So it was really interesting. It's really interesting to look back at this very first training game and to remember our conversations as we sort of got into how we were going to have our very first training match. Our very first, dwarf training session, session 1, as it were. And if you have not watched that series, it's four episodes. 2 are on my channel, episode 1 and 3, and 2 are on his channel, episode 2 and 4. And you will literally witness my playing strength improve by 50%. I mean, it's something like that. It's crazy. For those of you who have watched it and watched my play before and after, I mean, a lot of you have been saying you could really see the improvement in my game, and I can feel it. And it's just from having a lot more awareness of the battlefield, which has been really fun. So, anyways, would love to hear from you in the comments. I mean, this is just the training match. This is really what Oroka boss was using to evaluate my playing strengths, and areas where he thought I would do best to work on. And I would love to hear your thoughts, and especially from those of you who have watched the difference in my gameplay. This is the first game I played against Oroka boss before we did any of the training, so I think it's important to see it and watch it. And it really, I've enjoyed looking at it again you know, a while after we've actually done those episodes. So anyways, I would love to hear from you. I always ask for comments because I really love them. It's my favorite part of this, is just, you know, chatting down below, you know, talking about builds or saying hi. So, you know, even if you stop in to say hi, I always try and reply, and I really do appreciate it because this is the funnest part for me. So with that said, I hope you found this game interesting, and I will see you soon.